Okay, let's unpack this. If you're a UK SME founder or director, you probably know this exact feeling. You're completely drowning in data, but you are absolutely starving for actual decisions.
Yeah, that is exactly the pain point.
Right. Like you're staring at this incredibly messy spreadsheet or your chaotic CRM stack, and you just know that revenue is leaking out of the business, but you can't pinpoint exactly where the water is escaping.
Exactly. And it's incredibly frustrating for leadership teams because they're spending all this money on tools.
Which is why our mission for today's deep dive is to explore exactly how UK businesses are bleeding this revenue due to outdated decision-making systems, and obviously, more importantly, how to actually fix it.
Because there is a fix.
Yeah.
A really fascinating one, actually.
Yeah, there is. And we are synthesizing a really compelling stack of sources today to get to the bottom of this. We've got academic papers on customer relationship intelligence. We're looking at the UK government's 2026 SME IT trends, the recent Data Use and Access Act updates.
Which is a huge one, by the way.
Oh, massive. We'll definitely get into that. And we're also breaking down the proprietary frameworks of data science innovator Gangwar and his firm B-Value Venture.
Yeah, his work is really central to solving this.
It really is. But, okay, before we can stop the leak, we have to look at the trap itself, this data chaos trap.
Right. And what's fascinating here is that this isn't a failure of effort by SME owners. It's a structural deficit.
How so? Because UK SMEs are spending, what, billions of pounds on CRMs right now?
Oh, yeah. It's a multi-billion-pound market. The option is huge, but they're trapped in what we call dark data. So you have large enterprises, right? They have these dedicated data science teams to make sense of everything. But SMEs just have unstructured, hidden information scattered across like 5 different tools.
Right, like your emails are in Outlook, your tickets are in Zendesk, invoices in Xero.
And none of it talks to each other natively.
So you're basically buying a high-performance sports car like your expensive new CRM, but you're only driving it in first gear because you're sitting there manually calculating the RPMs on a clipboard.
That is a perfect analogy. Yeah. You're doing all the manual work. I mean, look at the telecom SME case study from our sources.
Oh, that one was rough.
It's brutal. They were drowning in disconnected sales data. Their team was spending 3 full days a week just manually exporting and cleaning spreadsheets.
Their day?
Yeah, literally Wednesday through Friday, running VL OKUPs just to get a baseline weekly report.
So by the time you're reading the report on Monday morning, the data is already completely stale. The market has moved on.
Exactly. And that latency leads to incredibly costly errors. In this case study, by the time they noticed a downward trend in a client's usage, that client had already signed with a competitor.
Wow. So they just couldn't intercept the churn in time?
No, because they were being entirely reactive. And this highlights the critical gap between data science and decision science.
Okay, break that down for me, because if my dashboard tells me that sales dropped 15% last month, isn't that data science?
It is, but it's just looking at the past. Data science tells you what happened. Decision science, or what is now becoming decision intelligence, tells you what to do about it right now.
Oh, okay. So it's the difference between a rear view mirror and an actual GPS navigation system.
Exactly. And since that rear view mirror clipboard method is actively losing SMEs money, the market is undergoing a massive paradigm shift. We're moving from traditional
Customer relationship management, right?
Right, to CRI, which is customer relationship intelligence.
And CRI is essentially this decision intelligence we're talking about.
Yes. Traditional dashboards are reactive. Decision intelligence, specifically using what's called agentic AI, is predictive and prescriptive. It autonomously tells you, hey, here is what we should do, and it can even execute the business logic for you.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, because you just said agentic AI, which sounds a bit like handing the keys of your business over to a robot.
It does sound like that, yeah.
I mean, how can an SME founder whose business is literally their baby possibly trust a machine to make strategic, revenue-impacting decisions autonomously?
This raises an important question, and it's the exact reason why so many SMEs hesitate. It's the fear of the black box AI.
Right, like it gives you an answer but won't show its math.
Exactly. But you have to realize there is a huge regulatory tailwind pushing this forward right now. The UK's Data Use and Access Act, the DUAA from 2025.
Oh yeah, the DUAA. That completely changed the game for automated decision-making, didn't it?
It really did. It relaxed the old GDPR restrictions that basically made it illegal to let an AI make a significant decision without massive human oversight. Now businesses have much more freedom to innovate with AI as long as they maintain clear internal complaint processes.
So legally, the doors are wide open, government is saying go for it, but psychologically, the founders are still terrified of that black box.
Exactly. Which sets up the absolute need for a framework built entirely on trust. You can't just deploy agentic AI without it.
Which brings us directly to Tej Gangwar and his whole philosophy, right?
Yes. Tej Gangwar, he's a founder with about 15 years of enterprise analytics experience, and his work at B-Value Venture is all about bridging this exact gap.
There's a great quote from him in the sources. He says, "I don't build AI to replace people. I design it to make them wiser."
I love that quote. It perfectly captures his concept of human-AI co-leadership.
Human-AI co-leadership. Okay, explain how that works in practice.
Well, we operate in what's called a VUCA world. Volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous.
Standard Tuesday for an SME founder.
Right. And in that environment, human intuition is vital. And AI doesn't know your client's personality or the nuanced history you have with them.
Right.
So the goal isn't replacement, it's augmentation. The AI uses explainable AI, or XAI, to augment the founder's intuition with computational power.
Okay, so it's like having a brilliant co-pilot who doesn't just yell, "turn left," but it actually explains why turning left will help us avoid a storm that we can't see yet.
That is exactly it. And Gangwar has these two proprietary frameworks to ensure that happens, EIRA and TIER.
I saw this in the notes. EIRA and TIER. Walk me through them.
So ERA stands for ethical, interpretable, responsible, and auditable. And TRA is transparency, inclusivity, ethics, and reliability.
Okay, so a lot of focus on ethics and transparency there.
Huge focus. The point is that on a human XAI dashboard, the system doesn't just spit out a recommendation. It explains the why behind the data.
So if it tells me to drop my pricing, it actually shows me the specific market trends and competitor data it used to make that choice.
Exactly. And transparency is the bedrock of adoption. When leaders actually understand the why, they stop fearing the black box. They act faster and with way more confidence.
Okay, I love the theory. It makes total sense. But let's look at the real-world ROI here. Because for a UK SME looking to plug revenue leaks today, how does this actually look on the ground?
Well, let's break it down into 3 areas: sales, customer retention, and operations.
Perfect. Let's start with sales. How does decision intelligence change a sales team?
It moves them from a static CRM to using predictive intent signals. So instead of a sales rep just cold calling down a massive list, the system flags a specific lead and says, lead X has a 78% chance of closing today.
Wow. And because of that XAI framework, it tells the rep exactly why. Like, they visited the pricing page 3 times today and opened our email.
Exactly. It guides the human to the most profitable action.
That's incredible. Okay, what about customer retention?
This is where the ROI gets really crazy. Instead of finding out a customer left after the fact,
Which is what normally happens.
right, instead you get automated risk mitigation for churn. The AI says, hey, customer Y is at a 65% churn risk because their usage has declined steadily over the last month.
So you can jump in and save the account before they even ask to cancel.
Yes. And the case studies show a 14 to 336% uplift in key metrics when teams actually understand and act on these AI recommendations.
A 336% uplift. That's game-changing for a small business.
It really is.
Yeah.
And the third area, operations, is what ties it all together. Smart Data Ops automatically connects all those fragmented platforms we talked about earlier.
Right, the HubSpot, Salesforce, Excel, zero mess.
Exactly. It creates a single source of truth. So that 3-day reporting nightmare the telecom company had, it becomes a real-time automated workflow. No more manual data cleaning.
Okay. So what does this all mean for the listener? Because honestly, this sounds incredibly powerful, but it also sounds incredibly expensive. Are we just talking about giant enterprise budgets here?
Well, if we connect this to the bigger picture, this is the true beauty of what's happening right now. It's called Decision Intelligence as a Service, or
That's SaaS, but for decision intelligence.
Exactly. Firms are offering tiered approaches.
Mm-hmm.
An SME doesn't need to hire a luxury in-house data science team for £500,000 a year.
Which they couldn't afford anyway.
Right. So instead, you start small. You bring in a DIAS provider to do an audit. They identify exactly where your revenue leakage is happening right now.
Oh, so they find the leaks first.
Yes. And then you slowly scale to optimization. You pay for the intelligence as a service, making it completely accessible for an SME budget.
That makes so much more sense. It totally lowers the barrier to entry.
It democratizes the technology.
It really does. So let's summarize this for everyone listening. The core takeaway here is that you really don't need to drown in data chaos anymore.
No, you don't.
By shifting from reactive reporting to predictive decision intelligence and, actually embracing that human XAI co-leadership, you can transform your CRM from a dusty digital filing cabinet into an automated revenue engine.
Exactly. The tech is there, and it's built to augment you, not replace you.
And this matters directly to you, the listener, because the UK market is moving incredibly fast right now. These cloud tools are accessible, the DUAA has cleared the runway, and I guarantee your competitors are likely already looking at how to automate their own decision-making processes.
If they aren't today, they will be tomorrow.
Exactly. Which leaves us with a final, somewhat provocative thought to ponder. As this agentic AI becomes more and more autonomous, what happens when your competitors' AI agents start negotiating, selling, or competing directly against your human intuition?
Yeah, that is the real question.
Right. How will you adapt your leadership style when the market starts moving at machine speed? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.